Hello, and welcome to Cindy's Corner. Today, boys and girls, if you've got the book, Pete the Cat, Talent Show Trouble. Uh-oh, go get it so you can follow along. It's a fun book. You know it's got to be fun if it's got Pete the Cat. While they're getting their book, go ahead and hit that subscribe and thumbs up button. Go ahead and hit that. My AR testers, this is a level 2525. Our title page is Pete the Cat, Talent Show Trouble. The authors and illustrator is Kimberly and James Dean. Have you ever been in a talent show? We're going to talk about that. Pete is excited. His town is having a talent show. Pete loves shows. He loves performing for the crowd and making people happy. Pete can't wait to sign up. He knows just what he wants to do. He will play his guitar. It's the talent show tomorrow. Cat City Auditorium. Callie is going to dance. Alligator is doing magic. Gus is playing his drums. Pete sees a familiar name at the bottom of the sign-up list. It's Grumpy Toads. Here's the list. Grumpy Toad, guitar. Grumpy Toad is playing his guitar just like Pete. Pete is worried. Grumpy Toad is his best friend. How can they compete against each other? On his way home, Pete hears music coming from Grumpy Toad's house. Grumpy Toad is practicing his guitar. Your song sounds super groovy, Pete says. Is that what you're playing in the talent show? Yep, says Grumpy Toad. I've been working on it all week. Neat, says Pete. I'm playing guitar in the show too. I hope I can be as good as you. Pete's nice, isn't he? Pete goes to his house. He takes out his guitar. What song should I play? He asks himself. Pete starts to play. Suddenly, Grumpy Toad's music gets very loud. Pete cannot hear himself play. Pete does not worry. He puts on his headphones. Now Grumpy Toad can play as loud as he wants, and Pete can still hear his guitar. But Pete still does not know what song to play. Pete decides to write a new song. He will show the judges that he has two talents. Pete tries out some notes. They sound great, but he can't come up with the right words. Just then, Pete sees Grumpy Toad listening through his window. When Grumpy Toad sees Pete looking at him, he runs back to his house. Pete takes off his headphones. He goes to Grumpy Toad's house. Grumpy Toad is trying to write a new song too. There's some stickers in the book. Pete listens to Grumpy Toad's song. The lyrics are nifty. Pete pokes his head into Grumpy Toad's room. Your song is super cool, he says. Keep up the good work. Pete, Grumpy Toad says, you aren't supposed to be listening to me. We are competing against each other. Pete shrugs. I like listening to you play. Your songs are good. Grumpy Toad smiles. Thanks, Pete. I like listening to you play too. I don't understand. Don't you want to win? Suddenly, or shouldn't you be practicing? Winning would be super neat, Pete says, but it is not everything. I just want to have fun. Fun? Grumpy Toad asks. Yeah, fun, Pete says. The room will be full of cool cats. I just want my music to make them happy. That's what music is all about. You're right, he tells Pete. I got so caught up in the idea of winning, I forgot why I even play the guitar. Grumpy Toad smiles at Pete. Thanks for reminding me. Just then, Pete has a cool idea. I wrote a new tune, and you wrote new words. What if we combine our songs? If we work together, our song will be the hippest thing ever. Yes, Grumpy Toad shouts, and we can be a team. Pete and Grumpy Toad get right to work. They put Grumpy Toad's words and Pete's tunes together. Grumpy Toad and Pete practice playing their song together. They practice singing their song together. Friends Are Groovy by Grumpy Toad and Pete. Pete was right. The song is super neat. Finally, the big day comes. Callie does ballet. Alligator pulls a rabbit from the hat. Gus plays a drum solo. Grumpy Toad and Pete are next. They rock out on their guitar. The crowd loves their new song. It is time to announce the winners. Callie gets first place. Grumpy Toad and Pete come in second. Sorry we didn't win, Grumpy Toad, Pete says. Grumpy Toad smiles. That's okay. We had fun, and we did it together. Pete agrees. Having his best friend by his side feels pretty neat. Have you ever been in a talent show? And maybe you did it with your best friend? What happened? Did y'all do it together? Tell me about a time you were in a talent show. Or if you haven't been in a talent show and you would like to be, tell me, what would you do for your talent? I can't wait to see what you say. And wasn't Pete nice? Yes, he was. Very nice, wasn't he? And when we work together, we're more successful. I hope you enjoyed our talent show Trouble with Pete. And give us a thumbs up. Most important, give somebody a hug and tell them you love them. Have a great one.